Are you a Jesus-loving woman who overexercises and deprives herself of food, desperately trying to obtain a goal weight on the scale? And yet, at the same time, you strive to be a healthy version of yourself by eating well and feeling fit? Hi, I'm Andrea, and I was running on the same hamster wheel for over 20 years. My toxic body image and eating disorder stole my joy and self-respect. Thankfully, God was always with me, fighting my battles and blessing me with the grit to reclaim my life. I'm off the hamster wheel, but I see you still stuck in the cage, and I want to help free you too. Journey with me every week. I'll share personal stories, tools, mindset shifts, and the practical steps I took to heal my unhealthy relationship with food and exercise. I don't believe food and exercise are the problems. I believe they're part of the solution. Instead, I'll teach you how your mindset and faith are the keys to healing. Get ready to navigate your newfound path to healing. Get ready to reclaim your self-worth. Get ready to realign with your God-given identity. For in this identity is where you find true wellness and healing. When you are well, your gifts shine into the world. Shine on, babe. Let's do this. I'm Andrea Carroll, and this is Good Vanilla. Hey, pretty peeps. I'm quickly popping in here before we get rolling to communicate that I am not giving medical advice. I'm giving energetic, emotional, and mental support for women on their health journeys. I'm here because I care. I hope sharing my story will in some way help you on your unique path. Okay, let's dive in. Hey there, friend. Thank you for tuning in today and hanging out with me. I cannot express how grateful I am to have you here and how much of an honor it feels to be talking to you right now. Today, I want to talk about something a little controversial. Or it can be at least. I want to discuss how you handle people complimenting your weight loss when the weight loss doesn't come from a healthy place. So if you are restricting food to lose weight, if you are over-exercising, if you are struggling with an eating disorder, if you are trying to change the way you look out of a place of self-loathing rather than self-love, getting compliments on your weight loss can be triggering. I remember when I first started losing weight due to restricting food and over-exercising, the response was positive. Everyone that I encountered, my family, people at school, like all of a sudden it was like, wow, how'd you do this? You look so great. And I want to do that too. And suddenly everyone could see me and people were talking about me and I was someone to be paying attention to. And that attention, that praise just fed my eating disorder like no other. And it wasn't initially in those moments, but then later on, as things kept getting worse, when I would get compliments, or then it didn't even have to be directed towards me. It was just noticing how people responded or what they said about other people's weight loss or other people's body. It was very triggering. And here's what I have to say about this. There are two main things that you need to be aware of and that you need to, one of them is something that you need to practice, because the two things are, we have to be talking about personal responsibility and then the other person's responsibility. Out of those two, which do you think you can control? Do you think you can control your own responsibility, like your own thoughts, your own actions? Or do you think you have the power to control what other people say and do and think? You have the personal responsibility to shift your mindset around these comments. I am not saying they are okay when other people are making these comments. In no way, I do not believe that it is okay to make comments about people's weight ever, really, unless they ask you, unless someone comes right out and say, hey, what do you think about my weight loss? Or, hey, what do you think about my weight gain? Or, hey, what do you think about the way I look? I don't think it is appropriate for people to make compliments or comments on people's weight. It is never okay. But our culture, our society is so wrapped up in appearance, and we have been conditioned to value appearance, to value weight loss, to value looking a certain way. So when it comes to the other person, you cannot control what messaging they take in around weight and appearance, and what our standard is for beauty, what our standard is for just being a person of value. You can't control the messaging they take in, and you definitely cannot control what they think about it, how they perceive it, how they act on it. I am such a huge advocate of personal responsibility. I don't do victim mentality. This is not a space where victim mentality can just grovel. It's okay to vent. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to say they were wrong. Yeah. But then you have to pick yourself up and you have to move on. And here's the thing. It's going to happen again. And this kind of goes back to the episodes I've had on triggers and how I'm telling you triggers are your personal responsibility. You will not be able to make it through life without being offended, and you are offending other people as well. So this is something where it's your personal responsibility, it's the other person's personal responsibility. But there are things, but here, I'm not saying too, like, that's it. That's all there is to it. No, there are ways to handle this. There are ways to be prepared so that in a moment when someone compliments your weight loss, compliments the way you look, and you are feeling miserable inside, we have ways of developing tools and developing mantras to say in our mind, and having the mindset ready for when that happens, so that you are not completely wiped off your feet and just leveled for the day, right? Hey friend, I have to quick pop on here and tell you that your eating disorder does not need to rule your life. It does not need to dictate every decision you make throughout your day. To help you see this, to help you see that you have a choice, that you have power over your decisions and over your life, I created 2 free workbooks for you. The first one is called 4 Secrets Your Eating Disorder Doesn't Want You to Know. In this workbook, you will learn 4 radical ways to shift your mindset to take control back from your eating disorder. The second free workbook is a Tame Your Eating Disorder Triggers. In this one, you will learn my 3-step process to regulate your emotions when a trigger strikes. This way, you are not relapsing so far back and losing all progress that you have made in your recovery up to this point. You can find the link for each of these workbooks in the show notes. So go download them, print them out, work through them. Do the inner work, friend, and start gaining momentum. Start reclaiming back your days. Start reclaiming back your life. Remember, God did not create you to be stuck in an eating disorder. He has so much more planned for you, friend. Go get it. So let's dive into this further and look at a situation where someone comments on your weight. Let's look at this to see where your responsibility is in this situation and where the other person's responsibility is. Like, what is the responsibility? What is your responsibility in this situation? Someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're looking great. It looks like you've lost a lot of weight." Ooh, all of a sudden, you just freeze, right? Okay. How are you perceiving their comment right now? Because how you perceive that person's comment is more important than what they're actually saying. Remember, they live in the same culture that you do. They have taken in the same messaging and have been conditioned to talk to their fellow human beings the way we have kind of been conditioned to talk and compliment on the way someone looks, right? Tell them how great they look. That makes people feel well. That makes people feel really great about themselves. And if this person doesn't know you well, they are commenting on what they see. If they don't know you well, they can't say something like, "Hey, I just want to tell you, you're such a great friend. You're a great listener. The way you invited me into your group, that was so kind of you. You really made me feel welcome." They are attempting to connect with you. They are attempting to really, more than likely, they're just trying to be kind. And if they're not, we can talk about that in a couple minutes. But more often than not, it is another human being trying to make small talk. No one likes small talk. And so many people are not aware of how our culture teaches us to value weight. So that's not in the forefront of their mind. If you have had a lot of awareness around this, not everyone else has. No, there are other people that haven't had this personal growth, haven't had these experiences that you have had. They may think that they are doing something nice, that they're saying something nice to you. If they don't know your personal struggles, there's no way for them to know how their words are impacting you. So your relationship with the person that comments on your weight, this will help dictate your response. With any person, with any relationship, offer up your own compliment that has nothing to do with their weight. And they might pick up on the differences of the compliments or the comments and realize their compliment needs improvement. And you can Google compliments that have nothing to do with someone's appearance. Like, there are so many blog posts out there and so many sites that have so many great listings of ways that you can compliment somebody. So you can go and read some of those and you can say those back, kind of model how to give an appropriate comment, how to start a conversation with somebody. And if there's someone you don't know well, it's best to have your own healthy internal dialogue in place. So for example, when they comment on your weight, internally, you have to tell yourself, "I know my worth. My worth is not tied to my weight. I can choose how to perceive their compliment or comment. They don't know the impact of their words, but I choose to put up my fence and not let their words in. No, their words are not for me. I will not let them in. They are in one ear and out the other." Write your own dialogue for these moments so that you can recite them to yourself and have them ready when you need them. If this stuff is so triggering for you and you're like extremely panicked and you just shut down and it wrecks your day, go back and listen to I have some podcast episodes specifically talking about triggers, and I have a freebie, a worksheet that you can download, and you can work through a trigger moment, and you can set up your 3-step process. Like, it's like your plan to be ready and have it in place so that when something triggers you, you kind of enact these words, like I was saying earlier. Like it's kind of like the switch to tell your mind to implement these words. Get rid of the messaging that's not for you, that comment on your weight, and insert it with the positive reaffirming, that is not for me. I know my value is not in my weight. They do not know the impact of their words, but I will choose and put up my fence in one ear, out the other. Do something like that. But there's in the show notes to this episode, I will have that workbook, the link for that, so you can download that. That is a free download that you can go and fill out to be ready when these situations come up, when these scenarios happen. You read through it, work through it, get a plan in place. That's the personal responsibility that I'm talking about, because you cannot control what other people say to you. You can't. You can defend yourself. You don't have to stand there and listen. And that, like I said, but this all comes, the interaction is based on what your relationship is with this person. If this person is someone you know really well, if they're a family member, a close friend, if there's someone you know really well, it's time to have a heart-to-heart with them. And if you feel like you can't say the words out loud, if you can't have a conversation, write a letter. You could write down how their comments make you feel, what kind of struggles you are dealing with when you hear them comment on your weight loss and the way you look. And you could read the letter out loud to them, or you could just hand it to them. And if they don't respect that, if they don't change, if they don't start respecting your feelings and have empathy for the way their words affect you, you need to start reevaluating your relationship with this person. It's not a person that's serving you. If this person is causing more harm in your life than good, you need to really be looking at that relationship. This is probably someone that you need to let go of for a little while. Because yes, the other person's responsibility, you have personal responsibility, but you do remember me saying the other person does have responsibility. I am not here to say that other people can say whatever they want to you and it's all fine and dandy. No, other people need to be held accountable for their ignorance on these issues. Like it's just something we don't do anymore. We don't walk around and comment on other people's weight. I get, like, it's just not right. We're just, my personal experience with this. And then we have all of our girls growing up and everything, all their value is placed in the way they look. And a way to stop this is change the way we compliment each other and the comments we say to each other. So we need to get better at the way we are conversing with one another. So that other person's ignorance, yes, they have to be held accountable for. But they have to make that choice. If you bring it up to their attention and hold them accountable, and they just completely disrespect you or show no empathy or care, this is a person that you don't need to be around. Plain and simple. But I don't want you to feel like you have to walk around like an abused animal, an abused, neglected animal. I want you to feel confident in that you can take on whatever comes at you. And you, my friend, are capable of teaching and modeling and showing better ways for us to talk to each other, better ways to comment or compliment somebody. In a past episode, I said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Like I was talking about be the difference in that saying. And I took it a step further and I said, be the heart difference that you want to see in this world. Be a leader. Show them what's up. Lead by example. Show them how to do better. Because if they don't know better, they can't do better. I love that Maya Angelou quote. Know better, do better. Someone can't do better unless they know better. Give them the benefit of the doubt. If it's an acquaintance, someone you don't know that great, don't let them get away with it. Stand up for yourself. Be an advocate for yourself. If it's someone that you have a close relationship with, they need to be called out. They need to be made aware of the impact of their words, because words are impactful, right? We know this. The words that other people say to us and the words you say to yourself, what you say to yourself in your mind. So you have to have those tools ready so that your words are more impactful. They hold more weight. Those are your truths. No one else knows your truth but you and God. So get those jotted down and ready for the next time, because it's going to happen again. And you never know who it's going to come from and where that conversation can lead. Here's a prime example. When I was 18 years old, I went to the Y every day after school because I would go and work out, get my run in. And when I was a senior, in the last couple months of school, I went to the Y, and there was this Y guy, let's call him, a young man that was working at the Y. He was in college, and he worked in the Life Center, and he started talking to me. And one of the first things he said to me, he asked me, how long were you on that treadmill? And I looked at him like, oh, if someone's talking to me. Okay, first of all, I was surprised. And then then I told him, well, 45 minutes. 45 minutes? I don't even think, I couldn't even walk that long. And I just and this is something to know about me back then. Like, I was way more strict and disciplined, and just like, I didn't do small talk ever. And I didn't understand sarcasm or joking around. I remember looking at him going, what is wrong with you? That is a pathetic thing to say. I didn't say this to him, but I thought, that is a pathetic thing to say. I would not be going around telling people that you don't think you could walk for 45 minutes. Okay? So that was that interaction. I go home later, and this is still running through my mind. I'm like, gosh, that Y guy, why did he say that to me? Why would he say that? It sounds so weird, you know? And then all of a sudden, it dawned on me, oh, he was talking to me. He was reaching out. He was making an attempt at starting a conversation with me. And it was just like, oh gosh, now what do I do? You know? I all of a sudden was like, is he trying to talk to me? This guy, this Y guy, this boy? I was so like excited and giddy. Guess what? I ended up marrying that Y guy. Rather than letting this first interaction totally dictate what happened next, or what I was open to, or, you know, the way I perceived it and what he said, I didn't hold him at his, face value. I didn't hold so much value in those words, because then later, it wasn't that long ago, you guys, like, it was like a few months ago. I was like, hey, remember when you told me, and we've been married now for 14 years. And I told him, hey, remember when you told me you couldn't even walk for 45 minutes on the treadmill? And I just so you know, why would you say that to somebody? I finally told him what I thought about what he said to me. And he's like, Andrea, I was just being funny. Of course I could walk for 45 minutes. And well, yeah, he went to college to run track, and of course he can walk for 45 minutes. But I took his words I put so much value into what he was saying to me, and I didn't even know him. And then thank God, and it was God that said, ding, 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 Andrea, he's talking to you. Pay attention to him. Give him the time of day. He's trying to have a conversation, and he doesn't know what else to talk about right now, because that's all that he knows about you. You come to the Y and you run. You guys, there's so much with these interactions and these comments. We stop making it always about you. Don't get so wrapped up and so involved in what other people say to you and how it makes you feel. You have the power to make yourself feel the way you need to feel based on what you tell yourself. And be open to other people. Show people grace. Show people kindness. Because that is a part of this, right? Know better, do better. And being the heart difference in this world, leading by example, showing them this isn't how you shouldn't be walking around commenting to me about my weight. How about next time try this instead? I love how bright of a smile you have on your face when you hug your kid. You really speak your mind and are incredibly honest. You have a high energy of optimism. You are perceptive and wise. You have really opened my eyes to learning about how to compliment somebody and what is an appropriate comment. See, there are so many ways to use this to your benefit, so many ways to grow yourself within this and to make the world around you a better place. You are not a victim, my friend. You are an action-taking, problem-solving woman who is stepping into her power with great empathy and grace. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey there, friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It truly means the world sharing this time with you. But to be honest, it's never enough time. Like, I could talk to you forever. If you feel the same way, come on over and visit me on Instagram at Andrea_Caro. Introduce yourself. And while you're there, you'll see that my page is infused with faith. It is infused with hope. And it is infused with humor. And these are things we need in eating disorder recovery. It's my mission to change the messaging around healing journeys. I believe that we should be pursuing wellness from a foundation of faith. So if today's podcast episode or any other episodes resonated with you, please consider rating and reviewing my show on Apple Podcasts. I would appreciate it so much. This would help me get my message in front of other people like you that need it so desperately. And if you know of any friends that need this message, that need this show, please share it with them. And remember, God created you. He loves you. He has great plans in store for you. So get ready, girl, and shine on, babe.